The money that I collected is honorable that brought to
Nigeria.
Contribution to Nigerian people.
Me, I want all of them look into this in Nigeria. When we want to take steps every day to make this country a better place.
And the new Nigeria is
education's telling them it's time to change.
All colors, shades, angles, and perspectives can be overwhelming in our present world of information overload. This is introducing Ground Zero. Ground Zero is a current affairs discussion phone-in program covering topical issues in the polity. The program is a platform for an in-depth analysis of trending issues by professionals, authorities in various fields, analysts, and key actors in the polity. Ground Zero gives the listener an opportunity to contribute to the discussion via phone call, SMS, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. From the conservatively serious to the ridiculously funny, Ground Zero accommodates them all. Professionals, urban contemporary businessmen and women, policymakers, public service workers, students, artisans, traders, and the in-between. Ground Zero comes up on Tuesdays from 5 to 6 p.m. and Saturdays 4 to 5 p.m. Ground Zero. This program is exclusive to Invicta 98.9 FM. Tune in.
It's another lovely Saturday evening. You are tuned to Invicta 98.9 FM, Kaduna's number one urban radio station. And it's time for the Never Dull Moment program on radio that's talking about Ground Zero. Ground Zero is a program where we bring up topical issues in the polity, and with analysts in-house, we analyze these issues and try to understand them better, or giving you an opportunity to add your voice to the conversation and making your voice count. My name is Ehis Admon, and Ground Zero comes up every Tuesdays and Saturdays. On Saturdays, 4 to 5, and on Tuesdays, from 5 to 6 p.m. On the program, we'll give you snippets. That's the issues we'll discuss. We expand on them. We also get to introduce you to our guest. And today is not different. But before introducing to our guests, I'd like to let you know that you can be a part of this program by going to the various social media platform of Invicta FM. At Invicta on Facebook, it's Invicta FM Kaduna. On Twitter, it's at Invicta FM 989. Same thing for Instagram, it's at Invicta FM 989. And of course, the website of Invicta FM is www.invictafmng.com www.invictafmng.com. Today on the program, we shall be discussing these items. First, we'll be looking at comment coming from Yahaya Bello. I'll tell you, he has become someone that's always in the news now. I wouldn't know if it's because of his presidential ambition. Every other day, you see Yahaya Bello coming out to make one statement or the other. This week, Yahaya Bello is telling Sheikh Ahmed Abubakar Gumi to not compare Niger Delta militants to bandits, or compare bandits to Niger Delta militants. They are not one and the same. We'll get to know the details and why he's saying that. Okay, as every other person is talking about 2023, because Yahaya Bello is already out and people are pushing that Yahaya Bello should be part of those contesting for presidency 2023. Another major name that has been on the lips of so many people is Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And on the program today, he's going to be on our lips, but not for his presidential ambition, but rather because the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission has started sealing of properties that are allegedly linked to Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Why are they doing that? People are also pointing to trying to whittle down his power and also shade him when it comes to his ambition for the 2023 presidency in Nigeria. And still talking about presidency, election, and electioneering in Nigeria, one cannot take INEC out of the equation because they are Nigeria's official electoral umpires. And over the years, so many people have complained that the delineation, the electoral delineation, that's the wards and constituency created by INEC, where people can go and vote and be voted for, it's long outdated. That population and movement of people have changed this equation, and they want it reflected in the delineation, and that is creating of electoral constituency. INEC has come out to tell us why they cannot create electoral constituencies now. We'll also get to hear that. So let's introduce our guest on the program today. I already in the studio. Okay. I have my two guests seated in the studio. We'll start from the first one that's talking about Samuel Yohana. Samuel Yohana is a public affairs commentator. Samuel, you're welcome to Ground Zero.
Thank you, Mr. Hayes, and thank you, the listeners at home.
Okay. I also have with me here in the studio Danjuma Abbas Dangwa. He is from the Coalition of Association for Leadership, Peace, Empowerment and Development. Danjuma, you are welcome to Ground Zero.
Thank you very much, Ahis, for having me, and respectful greetings to the listeners.
Okay. And like I told you earlier, we can all be part of this conversation. You want your comments to feature on the program, you go to the Invicta FM Facebook handle at Invicta FM Kaduna, or you go to the Twitter handle of Invicta FM, which is at Invicta FM 989, at Invicta FM 989. And of course, for the program specific handle, that's the Ground Zero radio program handle, it's at Ground Zero 247, at Ground Zero 247. All of these platforms are where you can give us your opinion, make your expressions known, and we will read it out right here on the program. Let's look at details of what we are discussing today on the program before we come to the studio. Okay, I'll start with the first one. Governor Yaya Bello of Kogi State has asked Sheikh Ahmad Abubakar Gumi to stop comparing Niger Delta militants to armed bandits. You'll recall that Gumi had said that bandits learned kidnapping from the Niger Delta militant, particularly the movement for the emancipation of the Niger Delta men. According to Gumi, he said it was when herdsmen became victims of cattle rustling that they became bandits and learned some of their current acts to be able to defend themselves. He added that if the government could give amnesty to the Niger Delta militant, then it should be able to give amnesty to bandits too. But speaking during an appearance on national television yesterday, Yaya Bello disagreed with the cleric that bandits and militants are on the same page. Governor Bello also knocked the cleric for asking Muhammadu Buhari-led government to grant blanket amnesty to bandits. The governor asked the Nigerian military to go after the bandits and flush them out of the forest in the northern part of the country. Of course, bandits are now everywhere in Nigeria. Okay, looking at the second item, reports making the rounds indicate that the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, has started sealing some properties suspected to belong to the former governor of Lagos State, Bola Ahmed Tinubu. The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission has extended its probe into All Progressive Congress leader Bola Ahmed Tinubu after EFCC had sent a letter to the Code of Conduct Bureau requesting copies of Tinubu's assets declaration form. A duplicate of the letter, which was distributed by Several online medium uncovered that the investigation concerning Tinubu started a year ago after the removal of the former chairman, Ibrahim Magu. Okay, we have a letter here, but let's skip that. After the another development purportedly uncovered that the anti-graft office have made a stride further to seal off some landed properties connected to Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. That's the second item. And now to the last item, which is why we can't create electoral constituencies now. A statement coming from the Independent National Electoral Commission has explained its inability to create new electoral constituencies in spite of agitations from some quarters, saying while it is practically improbable, the Commission is also constrained by both political and legal encumbrances. INEC explained this in a statement issued yesterday in Abuja by a national commissioner and chairman of its Information and Voter Education Committee, Barrister Festus Okoye. The commission, which said it was responding to recent reports regarding its responsibilities in the division, revision, and adjustment of electoral constituency boundaries in Nigeria, noted that while the division of the country into electoral constituency for Senate, House of Representatives, and State House of Assembly is its responsibility, once they are established, subsequent revision of the constituencies and or adjustment of their boundaries are the joint responsibilities of the Commission and the National Assembly. Okoye said any such revision or adjustment must be passed by a resolution of the two houses of the National Assembly, namely the Senate and the House of Representatives. He said, as a result, the Commission has been in discussion with committees of the National Assembly to arrange a meeting with leadership of the National Assembly to address some of the difficult issues in the division, revision, and alteration of electoral constituency boundaries in Nigeria. Some of these issues, which the Commission had previously brought to the attention of the National Assembly, include, but are by no means limited to, the following. One, the 1999 Constitution, as amended, does not place an obligation on INEC to revise or alter the boundaries of constituency every 10 years, as has been canvassed by some opinions in the media. For the avoidance of doubt, the Section 73, subsection 1 of the Constitution provides for that to happen at intervals of not less than 10 years. This implies that it can only happen from 10 years and above. Therefore, the Commission is not in breach of the Constitution, since the revision could not happen in 10 years or more. The Constitution also provides that the Commission may embark on revision and adjustment after a national census, creation of states, or by an act of the National Assembly, Section 73, subsection 2. None of these conditions actually exist at the moment. The last population census was conducted in 2006, about 15 years ago. The Commission feels that the revision and or alteration of constituency based on 15 years old population data is inappropriate, because the well-known rapidity of population changes in Nigeria would make nonsense of any outcome. In any case, the National Population Commission is working on conducting another census, and it seems reasonable to await its outcome. On the other hand, new states have been created in no new states rather have been created in Nigeria since the Constitution came into effect in 1999, nor is there an act of the National Assembly requesting INEC to activate the relevant section of the Constitution on division, revision, and alteration of electoral constituency. Okay, I think we already have the meat of what we are talking about, so we'll just go straight to discussing these issues, starting from the first one, which is the gradually becoming very popular Governor Yaya Bello, also telling the Sheikh Abubakar Gumi, the new crusader of peace, that he shouldn't equate or compare Niger Delta militants to bandits. let's start with Samuel Yohana.
Yes,
This
please.
statement coming from Yahaya Bello. First, is it a statement that is expected at this time? And is it one that is there any merit in the statement? Let's take it from there.
Thank you, Mr. Is, for this privilege. They shouldn't be compared because these are two different criminal gangs. The other one kidnapped for ransom. This other one also kidnapped for ransom. But they raid communities, run riots in communities, and in some instances, they burn down the whole communities. They set houses ablaze. Militants don't do that. Militants only strike when there's resistance, when they go to kidnap, where they blow up certain part of the oil platform. But I think militancy in the Niger Delta is a thing of the past now. So even if Sheikh Gumi is saying that they are the same thing, the way the bandits are implementing their own outweigh the one the Niger Delta militants, the way they are operating.
It's gone haywire.
It's gone haywire. because in like 3 or 4 states in Northwest Zone, bandits are running riots. And you can imagine. So this, we don't need this kind of statement now because it's like giving the bandits relevance. Like the president said, anybody you see with AK-47 that does not warrant him carrying AK-47, shoot him at sight. Yes. So I think no, there's no basis for comparison. There's no basis for comparison.
Let me come to Danjuma. The statement from Yahaya Bello to Gumi in area of comparison of the two, and also saying that the federal government should not go into any form of negotiation with the bandits or grant them any amnesty. What's your take on this?
Well, I will want to thank Governor Yahaya Bello for coming forward with that kind of statement. Reasons are that at moments like this, it's actually difficult for people to stand by the truth. It's very easy for people to identify and align more with what is the populist opinion. But in the event where we have gone beyond talking about a crisis of losing lives, and in most instances that not losing Nigeria's future, we have seen children, pictures of children that were killed by these bandits. We have seen pictures of women who were killed by these bandits. And now we are having a situation where the banditry situation has escalated to the point where the unity of this nation is becoming one of the key issues on the agenda. And when people like Yahaya Bello step forward to talk about these issues, it gives us some level of confidence that perhaps the leaders are actually seeing from the same prism as what the citizenry like me can actually see to this. The militancy in Niger Delta was an advocacy that went bad. An advocacy that went bad again because of the insensitivity of government to really looking at what the issues were from the get-go. But where we are now, for the fact that these people could come out, lay down their arms and say, no, besides kidnapping, what was known about the militancy in the Niger Delta was the bunkering of crude oil. And this bunkering of crude oil also did not just stop there. The militancy were trying to hold the nation hostage that we produce this oil from our community, but we have certain issues that we have left, under. And this is the reason why we're agitating. I know we have had this statement before. The statement from Sheikh Gumi. We've had this before during the Boko Haram insurgency. You can remember when the federal government was going back and forth, the northern elders will say, do not withdraw forces, we will talk to them. Tomorrow, Borno elders will say, withdraw these joint task forces, we will talk to them. But at the end of the day, this thing kept escalating. Someone said that it is as a result of poverty. Other people have come to say, grant these people amnesty. But if you look at it, even the amnesty that Gumi has been talking about today, in some climes that has been tried. Katsina have tried that. Zamfara State have tried that. Yeah. But you didn't see that kind of resolution coming forward. The militancy in the Niger Delta also listened to the political leaders when they came in to wade into the crisis, because these were issues that of ideologies. And I'm taking this effort to talk about this because we need to really dissociate the kind of criminality that we are seeing in northern Nigeria today from what was in Niger Delta when the militancy held sway. And of course, we know that we could not have reached the kind of benchmark that we're getting now around oil production if not for the fact that government established the NNDC, the Ministry for Niger Delta, and the amnesty program. These were key advocacy issues that these people have taken home. What are we going to be saying is the reason behind the Boko Haram insurgency? Is it the Lake Chad? Is it Lake Chad? What is it about really? Is it that the Lake Chad is shrinking and that is why we're having? No, you don't hear that kind of comment coming from pundits who are talking about this crisis. And when Yahaya Bello comes out to say that he is aligning with the order given by the president that these people should be marched out of our forest, I think it is in the best intention and also in the right direction.
Yes, still talking about the order given by the federal government. You recall that aide to the president said that Zamfara State has been declared a no-fly zone.
That's correct.
Majorly, and also the stoppage of every form of mining of gold.
Yes.
Now, the reason why this came to fore is that there were insinuations that this banditry is fueled and sponsored by these gold miners. Because even in the United Arab Emirates, Dubai now, there is a huge market for Nigerian gold. They are talking about the quality of the Nigerian gold, a huge market for it and all of that. And that these persons that are illegally mining and evacuating all of these things normally come with choppers and private jets to drop equipment, drop arms, and also pick up the gold that has been mined. Now the president has declared a no-fly zone in that axis. What next do you think our security agencies should do as a follow-up to this presidential declaration of no-fly zone to curtail all of this, since it has been said that this gold mining is directly related to banditry happening in Zamfara State and other states around there?
Is to make sure that the no-fly zone is properly enforced. Not paying lip services. Because let me tell you something. I was privileged to talk to somebody who comes from Zamfara State and who is conversant with these things going on there. He said that some of those communities that the bandits run riot and kill people are the communities where these golds are there.
The deposits.
The deposits are there in commercial quantity. And the miners have tried all means to persuade these people to leave that place for them so that they will continue mining. And the people are resisting.
Yes.
Okay.
So the best, what they think is better for them is to create chaos there and be killing them and be doing mining by the side. So, and let me tell you something. If you listen very well, there's some of those bandits that were confessing recently. They said this banditry started since when Zamfara State was created. That we're talking over 30 years ago now.
It's not a new thing.
Yeah, it's not a new thing. So successive government knew about it. But they just decided to look the other way around. As it is now, we've come to the crossroads. A decisive decision has been taken. That decision has to be implemented with urgent alacrity. Because let me tell you, the miners who are powerful And they're not only Nigerians that are mining their Chinese idea.
It's a multinational business.
Some of our West African brothers are there from Burkina Faso.
All right, you're listening to Invicta 98.9 FM. We sincerely want to apologize for that breaking transmission. You know, with machines, you never can tell. And thank God we are back on air and believing that you're still tuned and locked down to 98.9 FM. The program is Ground Zero, and we've been talking about comparison of the Niger Delta bandits militants with the banditry that is happening in Nigeria presently. That was the first item we talked about today on the program, Ground Zero. Let's quickly look at the second item, which is the EFCC that people presume or believe is set to go after Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and most looking at his Code of Conduct Bureau declaration form as a primary focus of the Bureau. And we know that for some time now, Tinubu has been on the lips of many people as one of the frontline persons that are fingered for 2023. And some people, in Nigeria, they want to give political connotations to every move that's made by the different anti-graft agency. Whenever any person is being prosecuted, people would always want to claim political persecution and all of that. Now, EFCC is shining their torchlight in the direction of Tinubu and sealing off properties that people suspect belong to Tinubu. And 2023 presidential race is also in the mix of all of this. Why now? I would say because he's been investigated is not a big deal. But why now? Because it's not a crime that was just committed recently. I start from Samuel Johanna.
Yes, probably the new EFCC chairman had decided to hit the ground running.
Okay.
Because I don't know how true is it. I read a statement yesterday on online that INEC shouldn't sell form to anybody who has a case with the EFCC.
That's funny.
Yeah, it's funny.
It's not theirs to say.
Yeah, it's not theirs to say, and it's not in the Electoral Act.
It's not in the Electoral Act. INEC is not even answerable to EFCC.
So I think probably EFCC are just trying to throw a spin in the air and see how people react to it. Well, for them to be allegedly going after the property of Jagaban, I think this things happen in politics, and maybe his political opponents have decided to say, okay, let's
see how
let's disorganize him a bit and see how he will react. So all this, it happens in politics. That happens. Maybe I'm sure if he has nothing to hide, he should be able to come out and put the cards on the table the way it is.
All right. Yeah. I love the way Samuel Johanna mentioned Jagaban. Jagaban. Well, I'll come to Danjuma now, talking about the person that is popularly called Jagaban, but that I want to call the Lion of Babylon.
Yeah. He's under the searchlight. Jagaban of Nigeria. He said it the other time. Nigeria.
No, it's Burgu.
Ensas Ryan.
It's Jagaban of Burgu.
Okay, he said so.
No,
that's what it is.
That is where the title came from. It's Jagaban.
Yeah, but he said
it's now Jagaban of Nigeria.
Yeah, he said it's Jagaban of Nigeria. I still remember the Asiwaju of
Lagos. Yes.
I remember those statements.
Well, the truth is that nobody is above the law.
Yeah.
And people have always criticized this government for not purging from within first this fight against corruption, and have been looking for softer targets from outside opposition and what have you. But what has been condemnable over time and wouldn't change now is that it is better for our anti-graft agencies to make thorough investigations and have their day in court and win those cases in court. The media trial that we get to hear about sealing this, sealing that, and at the end of it all, Nigerian citizens are left to believe that some of these people are clean even when they turn out not to, is worrisome. You can remember not too long ago in 2019, a case was withdrawn on a former governor and a serving senator from the appeal court in Jos. I'm talking about the former governor of Gombe State, Danjuma Goje. Yeah. And that thing came when Danjuma Goje was being tipped to run
for the Senate president.
You see, when these anti-graft agencies begin to allow themselves play the cards of politicians, they do not only lose relevance in the eyes of Nigerians, but they also will be losing their teeth in this fight that they have actually been designed and built to do. Because I remember when President Olusegun Obasanjo was putting together these institutions, the critique was that what makes you believe that these reforms will last? He said the Nigerian people will own it. When the Nigerian people own these reforms, they will always be there. Yeah. And I think EFCC has remained till this date because Nigerians still believe that it is relevant. And so in every way possible, both Bauer and his and the image makers and managers of this anti-graft agency must really clearly show that they are apolitical in their conduct and they are political in this fight, because so much about this, the future of this nation, depend on how effective these people are able to disabuse the mind of Nigerians, first public officers and then the private sector, from acts of corruption.
Yes, it's abusing the minds of Nigerians from acts of corruption. Yes, indeed. But the Nigeria that we live in today would always give political coloration to anyone that is being prosecuted.
Perception is reality. So
that's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
Well, I would have loved us to sit up more on this, but let's quickly touch the last item, which is this
political delineation
in Nigeria. I know Samuel Yohana is a key politician. He's a politician. He's a politician, a ranking politician. If I can put it that way. What first is the importance of doing this delineation, and do we really need it now? Because from what we had, the INEC needs the National Assembly to tinker with the Constitution before that can be done. But what's the importance of having that delineation at this point in time?
Yeah, we really need it because on the day of election, if you go to some polling unit and see the number of people, you'll be discouraged and you'll go back home that you might not be able to vote on that day. Okay. Because a typical example, it's a particular polling unit in Rigasa ward where every day on election day, you see nothing less than 200,000 to 300,000 voters.
Wow.
Waiting to vote.
And they just have one councillor there.
It's just one ward.
One ward, yes.
So one councillor. Yes. So Rigasa, it's the votes coming from Rigasa alone is like votes coming from some states in part of this country.
Yeah.
Because there are over 5 million, over 2 million registered voters in Rigasa alone. Wow. I tell you, 40% of the people that vote in Kaduna South come from Rigasa. They cross over from Rigasa. They couldn't register their ward in Rigasa. So they had an opportunity to register in Tudunwada area. Yeah. So that's why anytime there's an election, they cross over. In fact,
they'll leave Igabi local government.
They'll leave Igabi local government, cross over Nasar and come and vote. So that they will fulfill their civic right.
So 40% coming from another local government, a different ward to come and influence.
Yes,
wow.
Yes, because that's where they registered. Okay. So INEC in 2015, I knew Jiga wanted additional polling units to be created Then I think the ruling party then was saying that no, Jega want to rig election. That's why he's trying to create additional polling units. But I remember after that time, they created what they call, apart from the main polling unit, there's another polling unit. What do they call it? It's not a polling unit that is standing on its own. It's attached to an existing polling unit.
Like a sub-unit, when they will say polling unit 112A,
yes,
B, C, D.
What they did that time is once the number of accredited voters in that polling unit are up to 300, they create a backup.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what they kept doing. And I think they want to substantiate those backup now to be like an existing polling unit. So honestly, there is need for National Assembly to do something about this, creating additional polling unit.
All right. You're listening to Ground Zero on Invicta 98.9 FM. It's time for us to take some messages right here. And after those messages, we'll be right back on the program Ground Zero. Let's go. All right, welcome back from that commercial timeout. The program is Ground Zero on Invicta 98.9. Before that commercial break, we are talking about electoral delineation in Nigeria and why INEC is saying that at the moment they do not have the power. And the big question is, do we need it? Why now? What would be the benefit to the citizen? I come to Danjuma Abbas Zangwa.
Thank you very much, Ahis. You see, the citizen has beyond just a title responsibility, and a citizen who is already an adult, is it universal suffrage that it's called, who is within voting age, should never be disenfranchised. Citizens have the right to participate, to vote or not to vote, but that right, for them to do so should be one that is even more encouraged by government and should be seen readily available.
Okay.
Honestly, the people who came out en masse in 2015 to vote knew what they went through. In 2019, citizens knew what they went through. There are some certain people who even have the voter card but cannot go to where they are registered to vote on the day of election. Because when there is no public means of transportation, it's a challenge. Yes. So you will see in most instances, people say it's voter apathy, voter apathy. I agree, there is voter apathy. But also believe that there are encumbrances and obstacles that are laid down on the part of the Nigerian not to access the ballot. And we know what happens when the citizens don't access the ballot. In most instances, those ballots still contribute to the end result, whether they go there or not. So it is very important that elections are not issues that we begin to consider like a matter of warfare in Nigeria. Let us look at it from the context that INEC is there to ensure that they safeguard that right for the citizen to access the ballot. And that brings us to why we should have this delineation. Polling units are a thing of great importance. You go to Sabon Tasha here, how many polling units are there? And by the time you go to witness what happens in one polling unit alone, and you see the large trunk of numbers that are there, it's very easy for you to find challenges around violence, multiple voting, and so many kind of irregularities that politicians or political parties and political actors have relied upon to cancel out votes in a lot of polling units. So we need to really see that we shift from there, because these people who go to vote and at the end of the day here, when elections results are being announced that their votes were cancelled, some of them can only withstand that happening 3 times. After it happens the 3rd time, they say to hell.
Yeah.
And it is very wrong for government to encourage citizens to give up on the country, and especially on the electoral process. So it is very important for INEC to do what the law. They said there is a legal encumbrances and constitutional constraints and what have you. They should do what the Constitution and the electoral law empowers them to do by ensuring that more citizens, in fact, all citizens are able to access the ballot box.
All right. It's about time we get you involved in the program. 081 40,989 and 07087 800-989 are the numbers to dial to add your voice to our conversation this evening. We already have our first caller calling in now. Hello, good evening. Welcome to Ground Zero.
Good evening, Mr. Aziz.
Good evening, Musa Bala.
I greet your guests in the studio. That's correct.
Yeah.
Hello?
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, let me quickly start on the issue of Gumi, of comparing Niger Delta with the military. You see, no matter how you try to differentiate them, why we are saying they are the same is very simple. Like Samuel Yohana said, there are 2 different criminal groups. Already, you describe them as criminal. But the most common thing that is common among them is that both of them carry illegal weapon against humanity. Yeah. Nobody will have negotiated with anybody if they don't carry arms against innocent people. Whatever your cause is, once you carry arms, then you are a problem to the society. I'm not saying that the bandits have any justification to carry arms. No. The insensitivity of previous government and all the government we have made them to grow to this level. What we are saying is that the first option, please defeat them if you can defeat them. But if you cannot defeat them, you cannot continue to fight them, losing soldiers, losing innocent people, economy is not moving and all these things. Is there any agenda why these people should be maintained? We want them defeated, but if you cannot defeat them, then you negotiate with them. You are not the first person to negotiate. You are not the first person to forgive them as far as there are innocent people among them. Okay. I have started so many times how people negotiated, government negotiated in many levels. If America can negotiate, then who are you to say that you are not going to negotiate? We have to look at it in a very good way. Okay. We are not saying that that's the best option. The first best option, defeat them. But we've been fighting them for more than 10 years now.
We've not.
We cannot completely eradicate them. And some of them are willing to give up their arms. Some of them were forced. Then give them amnesty.
All right.
Besides, the 2 religions, both Christianity and Islam, no religion that will tell you that their offense cannot be forgiven by God. And lastly, let me go to EFCC. People were saying that before, that Bola Tinubu has been shielded. Now, EFCC is touching Bola Tinubu. People are start complaining again. But God save us. I agree with you all.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Musa Bala. Hello, good evening. Welcome to Ground Zero.
Hello, good evening. On the other two in the studio there.
Good evening, Comrade Gabriel.
My name is Comrade Gabriel.
All right, Comrade, let's have your take.
There's a difference between Niger militant and this present insurgents. Because in the Niger militant, the issue was very, very clear. Everyone knew their demand. And they were not kidnapping people and they were not killing anybody. They stand them on their right to live very state. But today, as I'm speaking to you now, I have a woman who is narrating how she was arrested. The ransom was paid and he was released. So that's a very great difference. And as stand by Bello, the Deputy Governor of Kaduna State, for their stand, these people are criminals. They should be treated so. The only thing Nigeria is waiting for, whether the federal government is going to declare these bandits. Sorry, that is what we are waiting for. And so if we are talking about, for example, where they are dealing this manner, does it mean that our area is very open now to any criminals to come in and do whatever they want to do? The government should be wake up because a lot of us who are very close to the people, we know how they suffer, we know what these criminals are saying. In fact, they kidnap people at their will, and if you waste out, they kill you. They kill that very person. So I think we should be very frank with the federal government and support the federal government. Nothing like, as far as I'm concerned, from the level of man,
no amnesty for them. They should be criminalized. They should be punished. And the government should wake up because people are really suffering. That's the truth.
All right.
That's the truth.
Thank you so much. Hello, good evening. Welcome to Ground Zero. Hello. Hello. Okay, I can't hear you. Let's take some other call. Hello, good evening. Welcome to Ground Zero. Good evening. You're welcome to the program. What's your name and where are you calling us from?
My name is Femi. I'm calling from Agomboro.
All right, quick. Let's have your take.
About voting booth. Last election, sir.
Yes.
At Agomboro here, we face a lot of problems. In Agomboro here, at least we need up to 3 to 4 police booths in this Agomboro. But it's only one in government primary school in Agomboro here.
Yeah.
There's a place called Cheshire Bola. That place was Bola, they are pouring there before.
Yeah.
But that place now is a big city on its own. So, if you can give us up to 3 to 4 police booths here, it is very good. Okay. I make a promise last time that I will not vote today because the council, after we suffer, we spend how many hours from morning to evening time here to cancel that election.
Oh.
It takes me very well.
Oh.
Sorry. For that.
Sorry.
About that, sir.
Yes.
If FCC will summon courage and probe him, and people like him, I will be very happy. I'm a Yoruba man. But if APC government say they want to fight corruption does not know either way from Yoruba or from anywhere.
Yeah.
We are all facing it now.
All right.
There are some people who are saying that because of Jagaba want to contest for a president, all these things, that's why they're happening. No, I don't believe that.
All right.
I even want the new chairman to prove anybody who wants to be councillor, from councillor upwards.
All right, thank you. Let's quickly take our last call. Hello, good evening, Engineer Emmanuel.
Yeah, good evening,
All right, quickly, in 30 seconds.
You can't compare Niger Delta militant and these terrorists. They are two different human beings.
Okay.
For me, I'm not in support of the amnesty concerning this bandit. They should not negotiate with them. They should go after them as a criminal and deal with them.
Okay.
Niger Delta, their request was clear. So please, we should not compare. It's not even comparable. So let's go after these people because they are not. What just are they fighting for? So that was on that. No negotiation for criminals. They should be dealt like that. Concerning Tinubu, I've been waiting for this. They should even probe him for the Bolen van and many other things. So that we know that they are fighting corruption.
All right.
Good evening.
Thank you so much. Let's take our very last call. Hello, good evening. Welcome to Ground Zero.
Good evening, Charlie.
Good evening. You're welcome to the program. Kindly in 30 seconds, let's have your take.
Okay, Francis calling.
All right, Francis.
For people that are comparing Niger with bandits, honestly, I wish them what they are wishing other families that are losing their life and their loved ones in this issue. Because that people are fighting for, the banditry are fighting for nothing. They are fighting for nothing rather than killing people to make money. So anybody that is comparing them with Niger Delta, I will thank you.
Thank you, Francis. We'll quickly come back to the studio, take our parting shots, and we'll call it a day. Samuel, Johanna, your parting shot.
Yes, my parting shot. The government should please do the needful in terms of it has to do with this banditry because, like I said, they are running riots in most states, and it is threatening the peaceful existence of this country. And INEC should do all what it can before 2023 general election and create additional polling units. For Jagaban, well, let's watch how it goes.
Daniel Zangwa, your parting shot?
Well, I will not claim to know better than the Sultan of Sokoto, who in 2016 said that these bandits terrorizing northern Nigeria are foreigners. The governor of Kaduna State have alluded to this. We've seen statements from other notable individuals who should know better. And I don't think that people who have no claim to this country should be negotiated with or granted amnesty. This transborder criminality should be rooted out of this country. Nigeria should not be a playground for anybody who wants to eke out a living with the use of guns and weaponry indiscriminately and illegitimately to find a place of livelihood. We want to see before 2023 that citizens are more encouraged and having strong confidence in the electoral body and the electoral system in Nigeria. And that can only happen when this polling unit accessibility is really dealt decisively with. Thank you.
All right. That's about the size of the program. On Tuesday from 5 to 6, I'll be on for another package of the program. I hope you've been able to have your say on the program and, of course, shed some more light on some of the issues we brought up on the program today. I say a very big thank you to Samuel Yohana. He's a public affairs analyst, and also Danjuma Abbas Dangwa, good governance advocate.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. I am Ehis Adon, call me the peacemaker with a passion for crowd satisfaction. Plant the tree today, water it and watch it grow. May the good mighty Lord bless and keep us all.